But we do.
Unless
Wanted to-
neighborhood comes to protest.
But at the end, if he has anything to add, he can list it on experiences.
No.
But yeah, if he's late, I don't anticipate any issues. Typically, that's what we all. Okay.
Okay.
Must be a time delay.
I'm sorry.
Welcome to the Twilight Zone. Good morning, everybody. It's time, 10 o'clock. We'll get the May 24th, 2023 meeting of the License and Variance Board started. I'm Richard Garland, the Director of Parks and Recreation. To my left is Bo Jones. He claims he's the Assistant Director of Water, Sewer and Utilities. And Mary Moore is to my right. She is the Director of Library Services. Via Smyrna. We will get started with formal business. License 2023-008 privileged license agent change request, beer, wine, and liquor retail pouring at 2467 Cobb Parkway Southeast, GMRI Incorporated, doing business as Olive Garden number 1136 with Sarah Elizabeth Hall as agent.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Mahoney with Sard & Leth Attorneys, and this is Miss Sarah Hall, the proposed agent on the alcohol license. As y'all mentioned, it's beer, wine, and liquor for Olive Garden. Miss Hall is the general manager at the restaurant, and she's there about 45 hours a week. We're happy to answer any questions y'all have.
Is this your first time as a manager of an Olive Garden or being a licensed beer agent?
Being a licensed and beer agent, yes.
Okay.
I've been with Olive Garden for about 20 years.
Oh, excellent. Good, good. Can you tell us a little bit about the process that you guys use to ensure alcohol is being served correctly?
Yeah, we do a pretty thorough training when we train our servers. We have a module that Olive Garden produces on top of all the training materials where we teach them how to card correctly, as well as ensure that the warning signs, making sure that we're not over serving, anything like that. And then they have to sign off on that training to make sure it's been completed with a quiz at the end as well. We ensure that they enter in their birth dates on what we call our little ZS at the table so that they do their math correctly, so that they're not making any mistakes as well. And then when they get the drinks from the bar, we also have systems in place to ensure that they take the correct drink and serve it to the correct guest.
Are there any in-house measures that you take to ensure that staff are adhering to that policy?
Mm-hmm. Every day when we talk them into position, we also question them to make sure they are aware of what the day is that they are supposed to be watching for, the born on date, as well as monitoring it while they're on the floor. When they enter in their drinks, they also put the birth date in, so the bartender doesn't make a drink unless they ensure that they have a birth date, so they know that they carded the guests.
Have any questions?
No,
sir. City of Smyrna, as I'm sure you've been told, we do take this seriously, and the police department actively goes out and checks this to ensure that restaurants and serving locations are properly following the ordinances and doing this the right way. So be aware of that.
Mhm.
Any other questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve privilege license agent change request, beer, wine, and liquor, retail pouring located at 2467 Cobb Parkway Southeast, GMRI Incorporated, doing business at Olive Garden for 1136 with Sarah Elizabeth Hall as agent.
Second.
There's a motion and it's been properly seconded. This is not subject to a public hearing. This portion.
No, it's not.
Okay. So there's a motion in a second. All in favor, say aye. Or show with your right hand so Jill can see it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Item 2 is, or item B, under formal business is V23-030. A public hearing variance request to reduce the minimum separation between emission stations from 1,000 feet to 650 feet on land lot 413 at 860 Concord Road. Jeff Carter is the applicant, and my understanding as of this morning is that the applicant has withdrawn this request. So we will need to have a motion to remove this, to withdraw this request from the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. This is a public hearing. If there's anyone here who'd like to speak to this? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor? I saw 3 hands. Okay, very good. Item C, V23-031, public hearing variance request, V23-031. Reduce the northern side setback from 15 feet to 5 feet for a dumpster enclosure on land lot 631 at 2979 Jonquil Drive. Anthony Pope is the applicant, and my understanding is there are going to be 4 requests on this particular property. And we'll have Ms. Crow do the summary of all 4 of those, but we'll have to vote on them one at a time. Okay, Ms. Crow?
Absolutely. Good morning, Caitlin Crow, Planner 1 Community Development. So as Mr. Garland said, we are going to be, or I'm going to read out the synopsis of all 4 of those variances. As you know, you'll be voting on those individually, but if you have questions, please do so for all of them. So the subject parcel is a 0.33 acre lot located on the east side of Jonquil Drive. The subject property, as well as the adjacent parcel to the south, were rezoned back in March of 2022 from R15 to general commercial. So the intention of that rezoning request back in 2022 was for the applicant, Atlanta Star Plumbing, to move across the street from 2978 to the subject property of 2979 Jonquil Drive. This was to make way for a larger assemblage, potentially in the future off of Jonquil. So the applicant is proposing to build a new about 2,200 square foot building on the subject property, which will be erected from shipping containers and those associated materials. So due to the property's location right off of Spring Road, the redevelopment did require them to not only meet our current codes from the zoning code, but also to meet the corridor design district overlay, which is also known as CDD2. Due to the small lot size, the setback requirements really created a really tight buildable area. So due to the constraints of the site, the applicant is requesting several variances to allow for that structure. Additionally, in order to accommodate waste management's requirements for their garbage trucks, as well as a 2-way 20-foot access to the north, the proposed building is shifted not only to the south, but also to the west to accommodate that. This also forced the dumpster location to be within the side setback of 15 feet to allow a clean route for the garbage trucks. Since dumpsters are considered accessory structures, that encroachment did require the setback variance. To accommodate the Spring Road overlay requirements, as well as parking space and aisle width requirements, the 88 parking area was shifted to the front of the building with the remainder of the parking to the rear. By doing this, they did need to get the variance for the landscape buffer in the front. Again, that is part of the Spring Road overlay requirements, and that was shifted down to 5 feet. The current civil plans, however, do show 2 street trees as well as shrubs being placed in the front to really ease the eye from Jonquil Drive to the asphalt. The subject property is unique in that it has the small square footage, which is much less than the required acre for the Spring Road corridor design district, which again necessitates all of these variance requests. The hardship is not self-created as the property is an existing lot of record. The setback variances requested are the minimum variances needed to build this new office building on the subject property. And at the time of this report, Staff has not heard any opposition to any of these four requests. It has been properly posted, and after reviewing the variance application, staff does support all four requests and recommends approval with the standard condition. Approval of the requested variance shall be conditioned upon substantial compliance with the site plan and elevations submitted with the variance application. And again, I can answer questions about any of the four variances.
Any questions? If the applicants, I believe are here, you guys will step forward. Or just stand up in the courtroom, I guess. If you would just state your name for the record. And I would ask you if you could slide towards the little desk in the middle of that table there. That's the speaker that'll help pick this up for those watching online, if anybody is. If you guys just would state your name and who you are while you're here.
Anthony Pope, with Atelier 7, we're the architectural firm.
Yep.
I'm Britt Pereira, I'm the owner of Atlanta Star Plumbing.
Maria Pereira.
This CFO, CEO.
All
Mom
of
and pop. Mom and pop business.
Very good, very good. Is this plumbing supply, plumbing repair? Repair. So you've got crews that are going out of this?
Yeah.
Okay,
Stuff. See guys.
okay. All right.
We, out of hands, just so y'all know.
Okay. Are the vans going to be on property each night or okay, all right. So the service guys come in, pick up the van, go out to the calls and.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you heard Ms. Crow's explanation of the variances. Is there anything that you'd like to add to that or expand on? Think she covered that? We always think she covers it very well. So we always give y'all an opportunity in the event that she didn't. Okay, are there any questions of the board for the applicants?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your business? You started across the street and decided to move. How did that?
Yes, ma'am.
They are developing our side, for our current location, that side of the street with potential restaurants.
Mhm.
And so he couldn't do it without our property, needed our property. So he bought two properties across the street and we did a property transfer.
Okay.
And so, which is a form of the 1031 exchange. And so that's the legal entity. So we could, and that property across the street was a tad bit bigger than our current location
How long have y'all been in business?
since
97.
97.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Been in Smyrna since 2011.
Okay, fantastic.
We live in Smyrna too.
So we were
Living
looking
Forest
for
Hill.
something local.
Right.
So why is it not Smyrna Plumbing?
I know. Should be.
Other than it's.
Well, actually, they tell you not to pick a location, and we have Atlanta in our name. And for marketing purposes, you should never have a location as your name. But LA Fitness made it.
That's just because Lower Alabama is so popular.
That was a good one.
All right. If you have any more questions, you guys are welcome to have a seat.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Like I said, we'll have to take these one by one, so it'll be a little bit of a little dog and pony show that we'll have to go through here to do this, but we'll be done in just a minute. All right. I will ask you, now that you have seated, I do have one more thing I need to ask you. Ms. Crow stated some of the conditions. I think there were two. The one condition. You guys understand that condition, that our expectation is what you've submitted is what you're going to actually do. Okay, great. Now we can move on. This is a public hearing. If there is anybody here who would like to speak for or against this variance request, V 23-31, please, for the record, stand up, state your name and your comments.
Sounds good to me.
Very good. For the record, those present are the applicants and future applicants. So we will move forward. Hearing no questions, we'll entertain a motion for V 23-031.
Motion to approve V 23-031 public hearing variance request. Reduce northern side setback from 15 feet to 5 feet for dumpster enclosure land lot 631, located 2979 John Quill Drive, applicant Anthony Pope.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3. Motion is passed. Item D is variance request V23-032. Reduce the landscape buffer from 15 feet to 5 feet in the front of the property, land lot 631, 2979 Jonquil Drive, Anthony Pope applicant. Ms. Crowe, is there any further information we need on this?
Not at this time.
Any questions of Ms. Crowe?
No.
To the applicants, any information you'd like to add for this particular variance request? Any questions of the applicants?
Sir.
This is a public hearing. If there's anyone present who'd like to make a comment about this variance request, please do so at this time. Let the record show nobody's standing up. Rick is being quiet. Moving forward. We'll entertain a motion on V23-023.
Motion to approve variance request V23-032. Reduce landscape buffer from 15 feet to 5 feet in front of the property. Land lot 631, located 2979 Jonquil Drive, Anthony Pope applicant.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Vote. The same condition applies to that variance as well. Item E, variance request V23-039. Reduce the southern side setback from 15 feet to 6.3 feet on land lot 631 at 2979 Jonquil Drive, Anthony Pope applicant. Ms. Crowe?
Not at this time.
Applicant? Questions, board? This is a public hearing. If there's anyone present who'd like to make a comment about this variance request, please do so at this time. Same people are present. No comments are being made. We'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve variance request V23-039. Reduce the southern side setback from 15 feet to 6.3 feet. Land lot 631, located 2979 Jonquil Drive, Anthony Pope applicant.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Unopposed, motion passes. Item F, variance request V23-040. Reduce the front setback from 50 feet to 31 feet on land lot 631 at 2979 Jonquil Drive, Anthony Pope applicant. Ms. Crowe?
Nope.
No additional information. Any new questions for Ms. Crowe? None. Applicants, do you have any comments? No comments. Any new questions for the applicants? This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to step forward at this time to make a comment, please do so. Same people are here. No new comments. We'll move on to the vote.
Motion to approve variance request V23-040. Reduce front setback from 50 feet to 31 feet. Land lot 631, located 2979 Jonquil Drive, Anthony Pope as applicant.
We have a motion
Second.
and we have a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion approved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Look forward to the success of Smyrna, LA. Y'all have a great day. Feel free to
Thank you.
stay unless you want to. Move on to item G, variance request V23-034, allow new construction on lot of record below minimum requirements, land lot 519 at 2484 Adams Drive. Rick Cobb is the applicant. And again, we have five variances that we're going to be discussing. Ms. Crowe will give us a summary of all of those and then we'll tackle them one by one.
Yes, thank you. Again, Caitlin Crowe, Planner One, Community Development. So this will be a little lengthy again, since we're going to be voting on each of them individually. I'll read through them all together. So this subject parcel is 0.19 acre lot located on the west side of Adams Drive. So the subject property was annexed into the city back in May of 2021 through House Bill 744, which brought several unincorporated islands into the city. Through the annexation, it was brought under Cobb's closest zoning district to ours, which at the time was R20, which requires a 20,000 square foot lot. This lot is well below that, just a little bit over 8,000 square feet. But since it's an existing lot of record platted back in 1944, the hardship was not self-created. So the applicant is proposing to demolish the small 742 square foot ranch house on the property to build a new 3,900 square foot 2-story single family home. The home will consist of 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and have a brick and hardy plank facade. So with the rebuild, the home will not only be brought up to current codes, but it also be brought up to the R20 zoning district square footage requirement, which is 2,100 square feet. Due to this small lot, the house size, similar to the other variances, was almost unfeasible for the structure. So it is going to be centered more in the middle of the lot to try and ease the setbacks on either side. And it's also going to be pushed to the front, similar to where the existing home is today. So in accordance with section 1205, the average front setback, not only this home, but the other home to the north is only 16 feet. So thus, since he's only requesting 25 feet, no additional variance was required for that front setback. The existing home has an existing 1 car driveway, which, as we all know, is not the standard today. Because we are adding this 2-car driveway with the garage, that's going to be over 25% of the front yard being impervious surface area. Again, since the 2-car driveway is a standard in today's terms, the hardship is also not self-created. The subject property, just like the previous variances, is unique in that it has less square footage than what the R20 zoning requirement is. The hardship's not self-created, again, since it is an existing lot of record from 1944. The setback variances are the minimum variances needed to build this home in line with the surrounding neighborhood. Furthermore, variances of this nature have been approved in the past for the property to the north back in 2021. So no negative precedent would be set on this street. Community development has not received any calls in opposition to this request, and it has been properly posted. So that being said, after reviewing the variance application, staff does support the requests and recommends approval with the standard condition that the approval will be conditioned upon development of the property in substantial compliance with the site plan and elevations submitted with the variance application. And again, I can answer any questions you have about these. All right, thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Is the applicant present?
Here I am.
Oh, there you are. Hi. Welcome.
Thank you.
You would state your name for the record.
My name is Rick Cole.
Okay. Rick, thank you very much for being here this morning. You've heard Ms. Crowe explain the variances that you've asked for. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Sounds dead on. The only one thing I would say is the house we're going to build is a little smaller than, I think, 3,900 square feet. It's 2,600 square feet.
Oh, okay.
Well, that changes everything.
It changes nothing.
Well, it's actually 2,650.
And just, so that does not change the variances. The plan does show 3920.
It's this must be it.
And it possibly is a
Yeah.
typo, but again,
Typo.
that does not change
Okay.
any of these variances. The minimum requirement for R20 is 2,100. I mean, so it was gonna be 2,600 or 29?
It's 2,650. It's our Shelby plan.
Okay, yeah, and so again, that does meet that R20 minimum requirement, and our stand does not change.
I need to have that fixed. Thank you
Yeah, that's
for catching that. I didn't see that.
Okay. Well, let's see what else we can find out. Does the board have any questions?
So obviously you're familiar with Caitlin Crowe, you're familiar with the city and all the requirements. You've worked with the city before on
Yes, ma'am.
previous developments?
Yes, ma'am.
Caitlin, remind me, the restrictions are just the standard
Yes,
restrictions, conditions,
Yeah.
standard conditions.
correct.
Understand the standard conditions,
Yes, sir.
having done this before. Okay. All right. Well, unless anyone has any other questions, please feel free to have a seat and we'll
Okay.
run through these similar to the way that we did the others. With one caveat, I'm going to state for the record that the only person present is the applicant. Unless those conditions change, I will skip the fact that this is a public hearing and go through that portion of this. We all understand it's a public hearing. Someone comes in, then
Sounds good to me.
we'll change the procedure at that point in time. I think it will speed this along a little bit if we do that. I will also say that when we get to item J, We'll address it when we get there. All right, item G, variance request V 23-034. Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve variance request V 23-034. Allow new construction on lot of record below minimum requirements, land lot 519-2484 Adams Drive, Rick Kolb applicant.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Very well. Motion passes. Variance request V 23-035, reduce the northern side setback from 12 feet to 8.3 feet on land lot 519 at 2484 Adams Drive, Rick Cobb applicant. Ms. Crowe, is there anything else that we need to add to that? Any questions for? You're good.
Yes, sir.
All right. This is a public hearing. Yep, and we're moving on. Do I have a motion to approve V 23-035?
I make a motion to approve variance request V 23-035, reduce the northern side setback from 12 feet to 8.3 feet, land lot 519-2484 Adams Drive, Rick Kolb applicant.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Variance request V 23-036 is reduce the southern side setback from 12 feet to 7.9 feet on land lot 519 at 2484 Adams Drive, Rick Cobb applicant. Ms. Crowe?
This time.
You're good. Borden?
Good.
No questions. All right,
I'm fine.
excellent. Do I have a motion to approve V 23-036?
Make a motion to approve variance request V 23-036, reduce the southern side setback from 12 feet to 7.9 feet, land lot 519-2484 Adams Drive, Rick Kolb.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Variance request V 23-037 is reduce the driveway setback from 5 feet on land lot 519 at 2484 Adams Drive, Rick Cobb applicant. The applicant has requested that this request be withdrawn. We need a motion to withdraw this request.
Make a motion to withdraw variance request V 23-037, reduce this driveway setback from 5 feet, land lot 519-2484 Adams Drive, Rick Kolb.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of withdrawal? Motion passes. Variance request V 23-038 states allow over 25% of the front yard to be impervious surface area, land lot 519, 2484 Adams Drive, Rick Cobb. Scrub? Good. Any questions about that one? Good? No questions. I have a lot of questions.
I'm in favor of it.
Okay. Excellent. As you should be.
Okay.
All right. Here, entertain a motion on V 23-038.
Make a motion to approve variance request V 23-038, allow over 25% of the front yard to be impervious surface area, land lot 519-2484 Adams Drive, Rick Kolb.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right, I'll send out the decision later, letter this afternoon for you.
And Rusty, thank you for your contribution today.
Always stellar, always stellar.
Have a good day, everyone. Thanks.
Item on our agenda for today.
On your plan review.
Last item on the agenda today is approval of the May 10th, 2023 license and variance board meeting minutes.
So moved.
So moved. Is there a
Second.
second? Their motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Unless there's any other business to come before the board, we'll call the meeting adjourned.